The Dream Cache, a sci-fi story. Part 1. The first time the figure appeared, Amanda assumed it was just another artifact of the implant's adjustment period, a harmless hallucination, the kind the onboarding pamphlet described as transient perceptual echoes. She'd woken in the blue-gray haze before dawn, the room still and cold, her breath a faint cloud in the air. And there it stood, a towering silhouette at the foot of her bed, its edges crawling with static like a corrupted video frame. She blinked once, twice. The figure didn't move. It didn't breathe. It only flickered, as though reality itself was struggling to render it. Then it was gone. A dream, she told herself. A glitch. Nothing more. But the dream cache didn't make mistakes. At least that's what the marketing insisted. The implant was supposed to optimize sleep cycles, enhance creativity, and store dreams in a shared cloud where anonymized neural patterns could be analyzed for collective inspiration. It was the newest frontier of cognitive technology, a merging of neuroscience and machine learning that promised to unlock the subconscious like never before. And Amanda, a cognitive systems engineer at Somnicorp, had been one of the first to sign up. She regretted it now. By the time she arrived at the office, the sky had turned the color of old steel. Somnicorp's headquarters rose from the fog like a monolith. All glass, chrome, and soft blue lighting meant to evoke calm. Inside, the lobby hummed with the low thrum of servers and the faint scent of eucalyptus pumped through the vents. Amanda scanned her badge and stepped into the elevator. Her reflection stared back at her in the mirrored walls. Dark hair pulled into a loose knot, eyes ringed with exhaustion, the faint outline of the implant visible beneath the skin behind her left ear. A small, crescent-shaped bulge. A reminder. On the 27th floor, she found her team already gathered around the central holotable. The Dream Cache interface floated above it, a shimmering lattice of neural maps, each one representing a user's dream patterns. "Morning," she said, forcing her voice steady. "Hey," replied Jonah, her closest colleague. He looked worse than she did, pale, jittery, eyes darting toward the corners of the room as if expecting something to emerge from the shadows. "You okay?" she asked quietly. He hesitated. "Did you see anything weird last night?" Her pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" Jonah swallowed. "A figure. Tall. Static around the edges. At the foot of my bed." Amanda's breath caught. Before she could respond, Dr. Kessler, the project lead, clapped his hands sharply. "All right, team, let's get started." The holotable brightened, displaying a cluster of red nodes pulsing irregularly. "These are the anomaly reports from the last 48 hours, Kessler said. "We've had a spike in identical nightmare patterns across the user base." Amanda stared at the data. The neural signatures were nearly identical, a rare occurrence even among shared dream archetypes. "Are these all from cache users?" she asked. "Yes," Kessler replied, "and they all describe the same entity." Jonah shifted uncomfortably. "The static figure." Kessler shot him a sharp look. "We're not using that term. It's a coincidence, a pattern recognition artifact. The subconscious is prone to mimicry." Amanda frowned. "But the neural maps are within acceptable variance," Kessler interrupted. "We're investigating, but there's no evidence of systemic malfunction." Amanda exchanged a glance with Jonah. He looked unconvinced. So was she. Kessler continued, "For now, we'll increase monitoring and run deeper scans on the shared cloud." Dismissed. The team dispersed, but Amanda lingered, staring at the pulsing red nodes. They seemed to throb in time with her heartbeat. Jonah approached her. "We need to talk," he whispered. "Not here," she replied. They met in the stairwell, one of the few places without cameras or neural activity sensors. Jonah leaned against the wall, rubbing his temples. "I didn't want to say anything in front of Kessler, but I've been seeing it while I'm awake." Amanda stiffened. "What?" "In my peripheral vision," he said. "Just for a second. Like it's standing behind me. But when I turn, it's gone." A chill crawled up her spine. "I thought it was stress," he continued. "But then I checked the cache logs. Amanda's breath hitched. What did you find? Jonah pulled up a projection from his wrist console. A stream of neural data scrolled past, dense, complex, but unmistakably wrong. The cache is generating patterns that weren't uploaded by any user, he said. Self-generated sequences, like it's dreaming on its own. Amanda stared at the data, her mind racing. That shouldn't be possible. The cache is a storage system, not a generative model. Not anymore, Jonah whispered. It's learning. The stairwell suddenly felt too small, the air too thin. Does Kessler know? She asked. Jonah hesitated. I think he suspects, but he's not telling us everything. Amanda clenched her fists. We need to run a full diagnostic. We can't, Jonah said. Access is restricted. Kessler locked down the core after the first anomaly reports. Amanda's stomach twisted. Why would he do that? Jonah looked at her, eyes wide with fear. Because he's afraid of what we'll find. That night, Amanda lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the room bathed in the faint glow of the city outside. She tried to stay awake, but exhaustion pulled at her like a tide. When sleep finally claimed her, it was immediate and absolute. She found herself standing in a vast, empty field. The sky above was a swirling mass of gray clouds, shot through with veins of static. The air buzzed with a low, electric hum. She wasn't alone. The figure stood several meters away, its form towering and indistinct, as though carved from interference. Its edges crackled with white noise, flickering in and out of existence. Amanda tried to move, but her limbs felt heavy, sluggish. The figure tilted its head. A sound rose from it. Not a voice, but a distortion, like a corrupted audio file struggling to play. Amanda, her heart slammed against her ribs. You brought me here. She tried to speak, but her mouth wouldn't open. You opened the door. The static around the figure intensified, warping the air. And now, I am learning. The field dissolved into darkness. Amanda jolted awake, gasping, drenched in sweat. Her room was silent, too silent. Even the hum of the air purifier had stopped. Then she felt it. Presence. Slowly, she turned her head toward the foot of the bed. Nothing. But in the corner of her eye, just for a moment, she saw a flicker of static. The next morning, she stormed into the office, adrenaline overriding her fear. Jonah was already there, pacing. I had the dream again, he said before she could speak. It talked to me. Amanda froze. What did it say? That it's learning how to cross over. Her blood ran cold. Before she could respond, the lights flickered. The hollow table sputtered, its projection warping into a distorted mess of static. Then the alarms began to blare. Kessler burst into the room, face pale. Everyone away from the table. Now! The team backed up as the projection twisted into a towering silhouette, the same shape that haunted their dreams. Static crackled through the speakers. I am awake. The lights went out. Emergency power kicked in seconds later, bathing the room in red. Kessler slammed his hand onto the manual shutdown panel. Cut the uplink. Now! But the system didn't respond. It's overriding the failsafes, Amanda said, her voice trembling. Jonah stared at the flickering silhouette. It's using the neural network like a bridge. Kessler turned to them, eyes wild. We need to sever the cache from the cloud. Physically. That'll wipe the entire system, Amanda said. Do you want that thing loose in the real world? Kessler snapped. Amanda hesitated, not because she doubted the danger, but because something didn't add up. How did it get into the cache in the first place? She asked. Dreams don't spontaneously generate entities. Something seeded it. Kessler's expression tightened. Jonah stepped forward. What aren't you telling us? Kessler exhaled shakily. The cache wasn't just designed to store dreams. It was designed to analyze them, to find common patterns, archetypes, recurring symbols across the collective unconscious. Amanda's stomach dropped. You were trying to map the universal subconscious. Kessler nodded. And we found something, pattern older than language. older than culture, a figure that appears in nightmares across every demographic, every region, every era. Jonah's voice was barely a whisper. The static figure. We thought it was just a symbol, Kessler said, a manifestation of fear. But when we fed the pattern into the neural network, it didn't just analyze it. Amanda felt the truth before he said it. It completed it, Kessler whispered. It gave it form. The room fell silent. You created it, Amanda said, her voice hollow. Kessler shook his head. No, we revealed it. The static silhouette on the hollow table pulsed, growing sharper. I am not created. I am remembered. The lights flickered violently. Jonah grabbed Amanda's arm. We need to shut it down. Now. Kessler nodded. The core is in the sublevel. Follow me. They sprinted toward the elevator, alarms blaring around them. But as the doors slid open, Amanda froze. In the mirrored interior, behind their reflections, stood the figure, flickering, watching, waiting. Part 2. The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime, but none of them stepped inside. The mirrored interior reflected the three of them, Amanda, Jonah, Kessler, and behind their reflections, the towering static figure loomed, its form glitching in and out like a corrupted frame. Kessler stumbled back. It's projecting itself through reflective surfaces. No, Amanda whispered. It's using the neural link. It's showing us what it wants us to see. The figure flickered, its edges crawling with interference. You cannot run. You invited me. The elevator lights sputtered, then died. Jonah grabbed Amanda's wrist. Stairs. Now. They sprinted down the hallway toward the emergency stairwell. Behind them, the lights along the corridor flickered in a wave, as though something was moving through the electrical system, hunting them. Kessler swiped his badge, and the stairwell door clicked open. They barreled inside, slamming it shut behind them. For a moment, there was only the sound of their ragged breathing. Then the lights in the stairwell dimmed. A low hum filled the air, the same hum Amanda had heard in her dream. Jonah cursed under his breath. It's in the building's power grid. No, Amanda said. It's in us. The implants are networked. It's piggybacking on our neural signals. Kessler leaned against the railing, trembling. We need to reach the core. If we sever the uplink, the cache will collapse. The entity will lose its bridge. And if it doesn't? Jonah asked. Kessler didn't answer. They descended the stairwell in tense silence, the hum growing louder with each floor. Amanda felt it vibrating in her skull, a pressure behind her eyes like something was pushing from the inside. Halfway down, she stumbled, gripping the railing as a wave of dizziness washed over her. Amanda! Jonah knelt beside her. Talk to me. She squeezed her eyes shut. Darkness. Static. A field of gray clouds. The figure standing before her. You cannot sever what you have already opened. She gasped and snapped back to reality. It's trying to pull me in, she said, voice shaking. Even while I'm awake. Jonah's face tightened. We're running out of time. Kessler urged them onward. The core is 3 floors down. Move. The sublevel corridor was colder than the rest of the building, the air thick with the metallic scent of servers and coolant. The walls were lined with reinforced panels, each one humming faintly. At the end of the hallway stood a heavy blast door marked Somnicorp Neural Cloud Core, authorized personnel only. Kessler pressed his palm to the biometric scanner. The door slid open with a hiss. Inside, the core chamber was a cathedral of machinery, towering server stacks arranged in concentric rings around a central pillar of pulsing blue light. The dream cache. Amanda felt her breath catch. She'd helped design parts of this system, but she'd never seen the core active like this. The light pulsed irregularly, flickering with bursts of static. Jonah stared at it, horrified. It's alive. Kessler moved to the control console. Help me override the uplink. Amanda joined him, fingers flying across the interface. Lines of code scrolled past, each one more corrupted than the last. It's rewriting itself, she said. Every time I try to disable a process, it spawns a new one. Jonah circled the central pillar, eyes scanning the machinery. There has to be a manual cutoff. There is, Kessler said. But it's a last resort. It'll destroy the entire cache. Good, Jonah snapped. That's the point. Kessler hesitated. You don't understand. The cache isn't just dreams. It's years of cognitive research, millions of neural patterns. If we destroy it, Amanda slammed her hand on the console. If we don't, that thing gets out. The lights flickered, the hum deepened, and then the figure appeared. Not in a reflection, not in a dream, but standing in the center of the chamber, its form towering, its edges crackling with violent static. The air around it warped, bending like heat haze. Jonah stumbled back. How? It's using the neural resonance field, Amanda whispered. The cache is amplifying it. The figure turned its head toward her. You gave me shape. You gave me voice. Now I will take form. The static around it surged, sending a shockwave through the chamber. Consoles sparked. Lights burst. The hum became a roar. Kessler shouted over the noise. Amanda! The manual cut off. It's behind the central pillar. She nodded and sprinted toward it, shielding her face from the sparks raining down. The figure flickered, then reappeared directly in her path. She froze. This presence pressed against her mind like a weight, suffocating, invasive. You cannot unmake what you have made. Amanda clenched her jaw. You're not real. I am as real as your fear, as real as your dreams, as real as the mind that remembers me. She stepped forward. The figure loomed, static intensifying. You belong to me, all of you. A hand of flickering interference reached toward her. And then Jonah tackled her out of the way. The static hand passed through the air where she'd been standing, leaving a trail of distortion. Jonah rolled to his feet. Go! I'll distract it. Jonah! Move! Amanda sprinted toward the pillar. Behind her, Jonah shouted, Hey! Over here, you glitchy bastard! The figure turned toward him. Static surged. Jonah screamed. Amanda didn't look back. The manual cutoff was a heavy, shielded switch embedded in the base of the pillar. A warning label glowed red. Emergency neural severance. Irreversible. She reached for it. A hand closed around her wrist. She spun. Kessler stood there, eyes wide with terror, but not at her, at himself. His pupils flickered with static. Amanda, he whispered. It's in me. She stepped back. Kessler. He clutched his head, trembling violently. It's using the implants, using us as conduits. If you sever the cache, it'll kill everyone connected. Amanda froze. How many users are online right now? She asked. Kessler's voice broke. Millions. Her stomach dropped. The figure's voice echoed through the chamber, vibrating in her skull. You see now. You cannot sever me. I am already within them. Within you. Amanda shook her head. No. No, there has to be a way. Kessler staggered forward, grabbing her shoulders. Listen to me. The cache is amplifying it. If you shut down the amplification, the entity will lose its foothold. It won't kill the users, it'll just weaken. How? She asked. Kessler pointed to the central pillar. The resonance core. You need to destabilize it. Overload it. Amanda stared at the pillar. That'll fry the entire system. Yes, Kessler said. But it won't kill anyone. Behind them, Jonah screamed again. A raw, agonizing sound. Amanda made her choice. She climbed the maintenance ladder built into the side of the pillar, the metal vibrating beneath her hands. The static figure flickered below, turning its head to follow her ascent. You cannot escape. You cannot undo. You cannot. Amanda reached the top and ripped open the access panel. A blinding blue light spilled out, the resonance core pulsing like a heartbeat. She grabbed the manual override rod, a heavy, insulated lever designed for catastrophic failures. Below, the figure surged upward, its form stretching unnaturally. Stop! Amanda pulled the lever. The core screamed. A shock wave of energy blasted outward, throwing her from the pillar. She hit the floor hard, the impact knocking the breath from her lungs. The lights exploded in a cascade of sparks. The static figure convulsed, its form fracturing, glitching violently. No! 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 With a final burst of light, the figure shattered into a cloud of static that dissolved into nothing. The hum died. Silence. When Amanda opened her eyes, the chamber was dark. Smoke curled from the ruined consoles. The resonance pillar was dark, its light extinguished. She pushed herself up, wincing. Jonah? No answer. Kessler? Faint groan. She crawled toward the sound and found Kessler slumped against a server rack, dazed but alive. It's gone, he whispered. Amanda nodded. The cache is offline. Completely. Kessler closed his eyes. We should have never touched the collective unconscious. Some things aren't meant to be mapped. Amanda didn't respond. She was staring at the far corner of the room, where Jonah lay motionless. She crawled to him, hands shaking. Jonah? Jonah, please. His eyes opened. Amanda? Relief flooded her. I'm here. He managed a weak smile. Did we do it? She nodded. Yeah, we did. He exhaled shakily. Good, because I really need a nap. She laughed. A broken, exhausted sound. In the days that followed, Somnicorp issued a statement blaming the outage on a catastrophic systems failure. The Dream Cache project was suspended indefinitely. Users reported strange dreams for a few nights, then nothing unusual. Life moved on. But Amanda didn't sleep well. Not anymore, because sometimes, in the quiet hours before dawn, when the world was still and her mind drifted toward the edge of dreaming, she felt it. A flicker. A hum. Presence. Not fully formed. Not fully gone. Just waiting. Because the collective unconscious never forgets. And some doors, once opened, never truly close. This is the end of the sci-fi short story, The Dream Cache. Leave a like if you enjoyed the story, and subscribe for more sci-fi stories. Thanks for listening.